Today on the podcast, we have a very special guest, Mr. Cody Stam. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
Cody's been on our podcast several times. He has a really unique path, career path to be where he is today. We'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But we're going to be talking about open houses. And it's one thing to host an open house, sure, right? And people always say, do open houses. And a lot of times I'll hear agents say, open houses don't work for me. And I say, well, what did you do? And they go, well, I put out a sign and blah, blah, blah. I think one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot, and I know it gets talked about a lot on our team, but I hear other people put out a bunch of signs, how to promote your open house, but they don't talk about how to actually talk to people at the open house. So even if you have 100 groups come through and you're like, this open house is amazing, but I got no deals. Like, that's what we're going to talk about today is how do we interact with people at the open house so that we can turn them from looky-loos or neighbors or people that say, I'm just looking, that's what a looky-loo is, to actually buying a house.
Yeah.
Or becoming a client, right?
Totally, man. And I'm really excited to share on this topic only because this is almost the biggest pillar in my business is truly this open house conversion. Growing up in Santee and being one of the prominent East County teams in real estate, a lot of things that I lean on is not only just doing the open house correctly, right, setting up the signs, doing the printouts, all those things, but truly connecting with my community in order to get them to know, like, and trust me and want to move forward onto the next steps, because that's the hardest part in all of this, right? So yeah, I'm super excited to share all those things.
Well, very cool. Well, you're listening to or watching the Whissel Way podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we give you tips, tricks, and tools to help grow your business. Whether you're a brand new real estate agent or a team leader or anywhere in between, we're going to give you actionable insights for you to utilize in your business and to share with other agents that you can help them grow as well. We have a growth mindset here. We always want to grow, push. One of our core values is grow or die. So that's what we are doing here today. If you like this and you want more like this, if you go, cool, Brian, I hear everything you're saying, I want to do this, go to thewhisselway.com. On there, you'll be able to subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube channel, learn more about our Media Mayor Mastermind course, which Kyle and I break down step by step how to create content that converts. We have a social media challenge on there. We have our Facebook group links on there. And we have our weekly email newsletter. You can sign up through there as well. So all of that is on thewhisselway.com. So with that said, like I said, my name is Brian Cody. I am the creative manager here at Whissel Realty, and I'm my co-host today is Cody Stam. Welcome.
Thanks, man. Well, give you a little background on me,
yes,
I guess,
please.
Would be the best opportunity here. So yeah, joined the team back in pre-COVID days. It's kind of weird to say that now. I listen to my own podcast and whatnot, and everybody's kind of getting into that phase of like, you remember when it was this, and that? And we start talking about masks and spacing, all that good stuff, and it's kind of crazy to think like how far we really are from there and stuff, and not to go down that rabbit hole, but just kind of goes to show like how long you and I have known each other and stuff too. So honored to be on here, and I guess to share where I started with all of this was really being Kyle's assistant, learning from the best in the biz, and honestly from there, spending the past 3 years honing my own craft, building my own business. And yeah, I'm really excited to share with the audience today my favorite topic, truly open houses, right? How do we get people to walk in the door and leave there and go, I can't wait to talk to Cody again about what my future looks like, whether it be buying or selling my home.
I love that. Yeah, and I think to brag on you a little bit, I didn't have anything to do with where you're at now, but I love, you're a great success story that we can always point to. And we always tell people this, right? Kyle says it all the time. Join a team, be an assistant, learn from someone, and you did exactly that. And to go from, I don't know exactly what you're making. We don't need to talk about what you made then, but I know you took a pay cut to become an assistant, and you committed to a year, and part of your job was to do dumb shit like pick up dry cleaning, like, and people go, I'm better than that, and you were, but you knew, look, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to be in rooms with Kyle. I'm going to be in listing presentations. I'm going to go on buyer consultations where he's going to teach me exactly what to say and how to handle objections and how to overcome stuff. And I know you shadowed him on more than a few open houses because you put out signs for probably a lot that year.
More than I like to admit. Yeah, I still got the calluses to prove it.
So I do want to talk about what to talk about in the open house.
Yeah.
That's where I want to spend the majority of the time. However, I feel like we'd be remiss if we did this whole episode and we didn't talk about, just 2 or 3 minutes of how do you set up your open house for success? Because I don't want everyone to hear this and go, okay, I'm going to talk to clients this way, and they don't do anything to set up for it, and then no one shows up to their open house, right? So how do we set up for success?
Perfect. Step number 1 truly is got to be lay out the land for your signs, right? You don't just show up the day of and think, I'm going to put out 10 signs and call it a day. You've got no idea what traffic's like, where the intersections are, where the hot ones are. So in my opinion, the best thing you can do is jump on Google, create a map, create a game plan that's going to help you and hopefully your partner, whether it be a lender or another agent or anybody else in the industry that's willing to do these open houses with you and help try to earn some business, right? We got to have a game plan of where these signs go. We're going to direct people. Secondly...
Wait, how many signs?
Oh, I mean, on our team, truly the bare minimum is 25. You look at other teams and it's really not even remotely close. But in a perfect world, to be honest with you, Brian, like at this point in my career, like I put out as much as humanly possible. So that number now looks like 40 signs. I bought my own. I'm definitely increasing because I've had people that walk in and they go, how'd you find us? Well, your signs. That's a good feeling. That was worth the whole hour it took to get that, to get people out there. So that's definitely a huge step for sure.
Cool. So step 1, lay out your signs, put out as many as humanly possible. You're doing at 40 now, and I know you're always increasing, and plan it out. So 1, you know where to go, so you're not driving around aimlessly. And 2, if you have someone else picking them up or setting them out for you, they go out in the right spot. You don't get them lost. You don't go, oh, where did I put that other one? You got it all laid out. What happens next?
What happens next is getting to the home with more than, in my opinion, 30 minutes to kill. You got to turn on all the lights, make sure all of your inside home situation is all set up, right? Whether that be your speakers, your drinks, your food. Honestly, like just setting the ambiance for the perfect open house is so important. And if you're showing up 5 minutes before it starts, you know what likely happens? You've got 3 or 4 neighbors outside asking you, when can you let me in, right? It's usually the old people doing that, but nonetheless, they're important, right? You need to pay attention to them. And if you say wait outside and don't do anything, like, that's not a good experience for them. Think of the time you've been to a restaurant and they say, oh yeah, I'll get to you in 5 minutes when you're just there to put your name on the list. That's not fun, right? I come from that industry of being in that restaurant service mentality. So when people show up, I want to deliver immediately because the more they wait or the more they think that like I'm not being paid attention to, it's not a very, very good look. So getting there early is like your second step after getting out all those signs and setting everything up.
Yeah, and I like that. And I was going to say it, and then you said it in front of me. But like, you make it an experience, right? You make it a situation that they come in and feel good. I've always thought it was weird. Or I used to think it was weird when I'd walk into Chipotle. Welcome to Chipotle, and I'm like, that's weird. Why do you say that? Until I started walking in, and if they don't say it, I'm like, hello, I'm standing here, and I'm like, not that I need to be told welcome to Chipotle, but it's the other end of it when you're literally standing there. I was just somewhere the other day with my wife, and we were standing there, and I was like, can I order food? And she's like, yeah, give me a minute. It was a pizza place. Yeah.
So we won't name names.
No, but it was hot. And it was not hot or ready.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, I want a cheese pizza. And they're like, we don't have any. I'm like, this is literally the one. Anyways, off topic of that. So we have signs. So we're getting people there. I know one of the things that our team does, so this may slip your mind, but our team puts it all on the major spots, right? The Zillow, the Redfin, all that. So you advertise it, you make it an experience so people aren't walking in and you're like, hello, is anyone home? Or you get that awkward kind of feeling. You want them to feel invited. And sometimes that includes food, but usually includes some sort of music, it's not walking in.
It's an ambiance.
Yeah, so you're not walking into an empty place, right?
Absolutely.
Anything else before we get into, or what about signing in?
Yeah, so, I mean, in the beginning, everything that you really need to do, the important thing about an open house, not only sign-ins, but can we create another appointment out of it? If you're going to create another appointment out of this, you need some contact info. How you get there is usually, I tell a lot of people, hey, you got to do what feels natural, right? If it's get people, right at the beginning, say, look, this is very much required, you have to, and it works, go for it, right? My approach more of the time is going to be really centered around, hey, did we build some rapport? Can I ask you a couple questions? And while I'm getting into like this stage of like, look, I'm going to be giving you information. The questions I'm asking are more about you. Like, hey, Brian, I love the shirt you got. Where'd you get that, man?
Amazon.
Right. So we're going to talk about that because I love your shirt and you like it too, most likely. We're going to just be talking more of those things. And then when the time is right, I go, look, hey, this is probably the more appropriate time. Let me get you to sign in with me quickly. I know you got a lot to do today, but let's just go ahead and do this, and I'll give you I'll give you information on questions that you might have in regard to this property. So that's one approach, but there's plenty of them out there, and I think we'll get into that when we start talking more scripts. So the sign-in, the sign-in is really going to be like a crucial piece to all of this.
Yeah, one of the things that I love what you said, and again, you went through this quick, so I want to take a second to talk about it, is your goal is to set the next appointment. So many times people go, I did an open house and I got no buyers. Yeah. No one bought a house from it. The house didn't sell. You skipped like 30 steps in the middle. Yeah. You're like, I met them. How come they didn't want to sell their house, the neighbor, sell their house tomorrow? Your goal is just to set the next appointment. And I think that's how you become so successful with your open houses is you're not going from 0 to 100. You're going from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 and just moving that needle and building that trust.
Absolutely. That is hands down the main thing that I think new agents miss out on 100% of the time. They think, I did all this work, I put out all these signs. You could listen to this podcast for only the first 5 minutes and you think, okay, do the signs, check in early, and get people to sign in. That's all I got to do. No, like quite contrary. Like you need to actually build rapport, get them into a position where you know what is the appropriate next step. If they've been pre-approved, they've looked at houses for months and they said, this is my absolute favorite and I need help writing an offer, that's your next step. Write the offer. But if somebody walked in and said, you know what, I've lived in this neighborhood forever. I don't know. I just think it's time to move. I love what price this is, but I don't know what to do. Would you say, do you want to write an offer? No, you want to move out of the neighborhood, right? Were you listening? Were you understanding what's going on? So building that and understanding a little bit more about what is the appropriate next step, taking it step by step will really help get that conversion rate up for sure.
Awesome. So let's move into, we talked about setting the scene. Let's talk about the experience that someone will have when they come to one of your open houses. What do you say? Where do you meet them? Do you let them roam the house by themselves? Do you stop them before they leave? How does that look?
So here's what it looks like.
That's a whole lot of questions.
It's a great question, and it's one that requires a long answer. And in this industry, I love to be the one asking all the questions, but I understand podcast, I'm in a different seat. So I'll try to make it clear and concise. So this is what truly your experience would be like walking into one of my open houses. Not only were we easy to find, right? Signs and stuff we've covered should be abundantly clear. We're doing an open house. You walk in, you're not met with somebody that goes, hey, please sign in, welcome to the open house. You're met with an individual that not only wants to learn your name and about your interest, but also cares about, hey, how did you find this home, right? What brought you in today? Was it just the easy button of the signs, or have you been looking at us for a while? Do you know this home pretty intimately? What questions do you have before we even get started? Because I could point you around this home all day and I could follow you around, be probably kind of weird. I'd rather point you in the direction that you already know you want to go. So let's talk about that. The other thing that I'm doing is I am leaning on this service background that I've talked about plenty of times. I got a plate full of warm cookies and I have a drink, whether it be a seltzer or a water or anything.
You got milk?
I don't have milk most commonly just because it goes bad, but it's a good touch. I might add that. But
you guys want some more milk? I got you.
It's been sitting out for a while. You got a fly buzzing. But no, like truly, I'm starting off the conversation with what can I give you, right? The give immediately is here's a warm plate of cookies and something to sip on. And I usually make some sort of joke of, hey, I know you've probably been looking around for a while. It's 1:00 today, and I'm sure this isn't your first open house. If it is, awesome. I'm glad to make a good first impression. If it isn't, I hope to make the lasting impression. Here you go. And then we give them more of the stuff that we actually printed. I see so many times agents do all this work. They print all this shit out. Sorry for my language, but they don't do anything.
We don't
with
cuss
it
on this podcast.
Yeah, right. I know who the other host is. But no, they do all this stuff and they don't get it to them. And I'm like, look, this was important. Like, this is stuff that you actually needed to provide. This isn't just to sit out on the counter and look nice. Let's talk about it. And I say, look, like, here is all the information that you need to know about what's happening, and really giving them a good overview of, hey, what is this experience going to be like? What does this home have to offer? And then the last piece of this, right, just to give you that entry level, like, hey, this is what your experience would be like in the first 5 minutes, is then I say things, look, I'm going to give you a quick overview of where you should visit next, because I believe these are the true selling pieces of the property. It's the kitchen with the waterfall countertop and the granite, whatever. And then it's the master bedroom with the crazy view looking the valley. Those are the things I definitely want you to check out. And before you leave, all I ask is you take another cookie and you let me know what you think of the place. How does that sound?
I like that.
And that's it. And I let them roam, because I'm not going to follow them around room by room. Now, again, if there's fancy things laying around, I'm definitely not going to be completely inattentive, but I don't want them to feel like I'm lingering. Nobody wants to be hovered around. You ever been to Tilly's or Old Navy? I think you mentioned before, you've worked retail. You don't want to be the guy that's, hey, do you like the way that fits? You want to try it on? No, Brian, I'm good, man. I will look at it myself. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And you never talk to you again, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
So a couple things that I love that you said is, when they get there, instead of saying, stop, you have to do this for me, you start with a question that they can't really, that's really disarming. What brought you in today? Or how did you find us? They're not going to go, oh, I'm just a neighbor. Oh, so you saw the sign? It's a really easy way to be, not like, you want to buy a house? No.
Yeah.
Just, how did you find out about us? I think that I love that as a way to break down, and it's like, oh, we're just having a conversation. You're not selling me. And then from their conversation, you can go the different routes. Also, I know because of your open house signs, because of it being posted on all the websites, you're usually getting multiple visitors at a time. And so if you were to follow each one around, you'd be leaving people and they're like, is anyone here, or can I just grab the cookies and go, right? And so being there is great. And I love, 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 love how you pre-frame them leaving and say, just tell me what you think. So that way they're not sneaking out. And I'm sure people still do, but at least they can be like, all right, bye. You're like, okay, cool. It gives you an opportunity to have another conversation with them without being salesy or yucky,
Yeah.
So they walk around, and let's play this scenario out, and you say, okay, as they're leaving, what does that conversation look like? Assuming they don't say, bye, Cody, I'm out. What does that conversation look like to get them to that next step, to get them to that next appointment?
The next steps are truly, this is arguably the most important part of the whole thing. I could have done everything right in the beginning, and like you said, if they're willing to walk out the door and they're just like, hey, see you later. Yeah, I loved it. I got to go. Look, you know what? I vetted them at this point. They don't want to talk to me. I understand, right? Or we're gonna, you're gonna run into those. The ones that are truly going to sit there and wait for you and go, hey, yeah, I'm ready to tell you what I think about the place. Those are the ones that are gonna value a little bit about, in my opinion, what your thoughts are. So now at this point, when we have that conversation, I am asking quite literally, what did you think of the place? On a scale of 1 to 10, what does this look like? If it's not a 10, what would it take to get there? What do you think of the price? We're going to be talking more of those specific things. And what I always allow them to do is look, I understand this place might not be the one, right? If they've not indicated that that's the case, I say, I understand that this is not the one. What I can do, though, is help you move forward and understand the process of what it would look like once you find the one. Has anyone done that with you?
And they never have.
They never have. They've never gone over it, especially if they're first-time home buyers. These people that are willing to have these types of conversations with you are the ones that are really what we call the low-hanging fruit. They're ready to sit there and they go, look, I don't know, but I trust you. You brought me cookies. You answered my questions. This open house experience has been non-pressure, has not been a ton of questions, and I got to roam at it at my leisure, and you gave me tons of information. I'm happy to listen to at least what you have to say, because I know at the end of the day, you're going to set the expectation of what it looks like when I walk away, and it's exactly what I do too. And in that conversation, I say, hey, if it makes sense, then let's talk about what this buyer journey would look like for you, right? From step A to Z. And at that point, if you choose to work with me, I'd love to work with you. If you don't, at least you learned something new and it cost you nothing. Would you find value in something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then they do. And at that point, all I got was an appointment. I don't have a contract signed at that point. I don't have a home ready to sell right afterwards, but I at least have a connection with somebody that is saying to me, I came into your office and I'm willing to talk with you more. That's what's most important. And I think so many agents miss that opportunity. They did all this other work and they think, oh no, if they don't say I want to make an offer, then I lost.
So you say you make an appointment. How do you're like, all right, Jim and Susie, you already had them sign in the beginning. They were like, cool. How do you set that appointment? You're like, all right, I'll call you later today, or do you do you pull out your phone and look at it now? How do you make sure that appointment gets set so you don't forget and they can commit?
How I do that is I utilize the CRM we have. That is my absolute biggest tool, because in the real time I can say, Brian, you know what? I appreciate you willing to give me at least 30 minutes of your time to talk about this. Now, I know it's Sunday, it's 3 o'clock. You may have things to do with the family. If that's not the case, let's meet when I'm finished. Would that work? You say no. Let's just put that into play, just because I want to know what this next steps would look like. I said, Brian, phenomenal, man. I understand. Family time is really important to me, too. I actually would like to go have dinner with my kids, too. What does the next 2 days look like? Monday or Tuesday, mornings or evenings? Which works best for you?
Evenings.
Evenings. Phenomenal, right? Monday evening, would that be the first appropriate time that we could maybe sit down and do this?
Yeah.
Great.
I like that first appropriate time.
Right. So at that point, I will have my phone. If I did not already have them sign in, that's the time. Brian, I'm a man that lives by my calendar. I have to put something in here. I don't know if you're like that or not, but I'd love to add you to that. And if you'd like to, start, then that's the best way to do this. What's a good email?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I get the email. I'm going to do that. Phone number, same exact thing. Look, I'm going to also text you the morning of just to send a quick reminder. If you need to adjust, that's fine. I can be adjustable. I understand, life's busy. Let me know what that is. We do that. And then from there, it's very much as soon as humanly possible. If you were to tell me, 3 weeks from now, I'm going to be available. Look, I'm not very excited. I'll still set it, but I do have the understanding now. Look, Brian may not really want to meet with me. That's a cue to, hey, maybe we turn things away. But if Brian was really interested, that's the best way to do it. You do it right then and there. That way you don't forget, and you also follow through. The last piece of this, which I cannot express enough, enthusiasm towards, is send them all of the reminders, emails, text messages immediately after. The text message would be, hey, thanks so much, Brian, for meeting with me. I appreciate you. I'm excited to do this. That's it.
You're talking about a video, text video.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking about it. You can do a text message. People are afraid of video for whatever reason. I think it's silly, but you absolutely do that. I think those are the things that'll be able to help you set the most solid appointment. Yeah.
So from what I hear, to kind of sum up what we all talked about, is 1, make sure you drive people to your open house appropriately. 2, have a good experience laid out for them. Food, music, ambiance, make sure the house smells good, is not too hot or cold, right? Then make it a low-pressure environment. What I loved, it's interesting. I have a love-hate with what you said, but you're an agent and I'm not, and so I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I have a love-hate with not getting everyone signed in. How you explained it, what I love about it is the people that you have signed in are the ones that you've connected with, and you're not going to be chasing down. If they're just trying to come and go, and then you're going to waste time ghosting them, I get that side. I don't, but on the other side, you will miss out on opportunities that maybe they weren't in the mood then, or they had a bad day, or whatever. it's an ebb and flow, and each agent is going to do things differently. Again, you're the agent. You've done more open houses than I have, so I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
True. But I want to pause you there, because what my message hopefully is not, I don't want it to be the message of don't sign everyone in. What I don't believe in is shoving a screen in their face and say sign in right away. I believe the best thing you can do is give them a few things, so when you're ready to ask for something, they're ready to give it back as well. If you gave me a plate full of cookies and ice cold water and all the information about this property first, hey Brian, yeah, absolutely. It's Cody Stan with Whissel Realty Group, 619-672-9977. I don't care. And the thing that I also pair with that when they do give me that information, hey, look, this is going to be a personal message from me moving forward. If you decide that now's not the right time, or you want me to wait a little while before following up, just let me know. It's a personal message to myself. I'm not selling off your info to anything like that. I hope you can trust that, that would be the case. People are, yeah, no, sure. And I almost don't even have to say that. But I give them a little extra reassurance, and I want to make sure the boss is listening. I don't not get people signed in every single time. But there are some people, like you said, they walk in, they go, nope, I just want to walk around. You know what? I'm not going to chase that guy around. He doesn't want to work with me, and I don't want to work with him. Right?
Yep.
That's what I don't want to do. But anybody that shows remote kindness, appreciates what I'm doing, absolutely, we got to get them to sign in.
Very cool. So we get the sign in. We have a non-invasive, non-salesy kind of just giving education about the house, about the neighborhood, about the area. I love that you say, hey, check out these couple high points, because that way you get to guide them where you want to go. Don't be like, and avoid the second bedroom. Like, the high points are great. And then, again, probably my favorite is the fact that you're like, hey, hit me up before you leave, because it gives you a great opportunity not only to talk with them about next steps, but also get feedback about the house that you then can portray to your homeowner. And so, hey, we had, because a lot of times the homeowner, not a lot of times, every time the homeowner wants feedback. Yeah. Well, they may not like the feedback, but they want the feedback. Mm-hmm. And so saying, hey, I stopped everyone that walked through, and they said, these are the things that they said, I think is super powerful for you, and especially if it comes that time to, I told you it was overpriced. Every person said it was overpriced. No one's going to write an offer. This is telling you that I was right and you were wrong. Maybe we don't go that hard, but that's the idea.
That's the idea.
So, with that being said, if you liked this episode, if you want more information like this, go ahead. Like I said, go to thewhisselway.com. And if you could take 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds, leave a review on your favorite podcast profile, whether it's iTunes or Spotify. It means a lot to us. It helps us get our views out to our podcast out to other people. Let's move into our Whissel Widget of the Week. This is something that we use in our life, in our business, saves us time, helps us make more money, or helps us have more fun. Do you want to go first, or you want me to?
You first.
So, I decided today, we're doing several podcasts today, I decided today I'm going to do all about my new glasses. These are the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I'm absolutely in love with them. They're prescription, and what's really cool about them is they're through Meta, so this is Facebook or Instagram, and they can do a lot of cool features. And the feature that I'm going to talk about today is my favorite feature, and the reason why I bought them was they have a little camera built into them. So if I do this here, now I'm actually filming a video, and so they film a little video. I can transfer.
Ask me for permission.
It's fine. It's implied. Yeah. But I can film video. I can take pictures. I've been using this for behind the scenes with my kids, behind the scenes at work, and it's just a great way to capture video hands-free and really still be in the moment. I was able to do this at my son's t-ball game, and so he was able to hit and I was able to watch and be there and still get video. So the video quality is good. It's not the best in the world, but it can get me video that I can't get otherwise. So I really love it.
And you look great doing it.
Thanks. You can see my light is on.
Sponsored by Ray-Ban.
It's not, but if you would like to, I would like to be sponsored.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal.
All right, Cody, what do you got?
My widget of the week, this isn't an app or software. This is more, in my opinion, all about the at-home office. Just recently went to Costco and I got the 31.5-inch curved monitor to really help improve my productivity. When I'm on my, I have a Mac, it's the iCloud, it's like 13.5 inches. It is so hard just to do everyday tasks when I need to copy and paste from people's profiles, or I'm trying to read one email, send attachments elsewhere. Getting that monitor situation, having a keyboard and a mouse, and truly a place to sit. Again, these are multiple widgets, but at the same time, like, I'm just gonna really lean on the fact that you need an at-home office, whether that's really at home or it's at the shared workspace that you have. You need somewhere to really plug in and get to work. And at this point in my career, being at a coffee shop on a tiny laptop just does not get me the same, productivity that I would when I'm sitting behind that big old monitor and,
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Cody, thank you so much. You shared so much value. No, it's staying in 1,000%. I hope you got a lot of value from this. Cody, if someone wants to reach out to you, maybe they have questions about your story, maybe they have questions about open houses, maybe they're an agent and they want to learn more about what it looks like a day in the life. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Best way to reach out for me is text. I love a text message. Phone number 619-672-9977. Other ways you can find me, though, is through Instagram, Facebook. It's just my first name, last name, Cody Stam _, and that's the best places you can reach me if you want to check me out online.
Cool. Thanks so much, Cody.
Right on. Thanks,
We'll see you guys next week.